What's good, everybody? This is Mr. Composition, the MC that writes fiction, and we're back at it with a Black Clover 307 review. And oh my goodness, like this week has been, well, this previous week was crazy. Like on Wednesday, basically from Wednesday to Monday, I was in Denver, and so the leaks came out. I saw the leaks, but I was literally doing the show, and I had two shows, one on Friday, one on Saturday. The leaks came out, I was like, oh snap it, I didn't get a chance to do a leak video, and then like the official chapter came out, and so now, you know, I'm back home, and so I'm doing the official chapter review, and I believe 308 is on break this week, so we got some time to really dive into this chapter because, oh man, was it crazy. So it starts off, you know, where everything picked up yesterday, or, you know, 306, and, you know, Zenon is making another deal as far as with his devil Beelzebub. Now we got confirmation that that was his devil, and so we start 307 with Zenon offering his heart, or Zenon's offering everything for a devil heart. And before he actually, you know, gets it, he sees a vision of Alan, you know. Now, what's interesting about Zenon is why he is gaining this power and why he's doing what he's doing is for the Spade Kingdom. Dante and Vonica, their desires, you know, they're very selfish. Zenon's the only one who's willing to sacrifice everything for the protection of the Spade Kingdom. And we see Zenon's eyes, you know, and his heart, and then, oh snap. Yuno's just all like, this, we see Zenon turn into a freaking devil, you know, and then Yuno's just like, oh man, this feeling is just like that guy, and he's talking about the grit, and Zenon's just like, now that I have acquired the devil's heart, my strength is even more devastating. And freaking, you know, it's just all like, all right, I gotta do something, you know, and then boom, Zenon traps Yuno in his spatial magic and starts, you know, messing Yuno up. Like, he was just all like, yo, you poor Yuno, man. Like, Yuno's actually like really been trying to, you know, go at it, you know, but what's interesting is what Zenon says while he's tearing Yuno's ass up. He said, that arrow a minute ago, in order to avoid hitting your comrade, you diverted it slightly and missed my heart. If you'd sacrificed your comrade to pierce my heart, you would have won. And then he goes on to continuing to whoop Yuno's ass. And then Yuno is laid out of his spirit form. Laid out. Now, there's a couple of things that I want to address with this. So, I think it was very, very important that Yuki Tabata did that, because a lot of people, you know, was thinking, because of the parallels between Yuno and Zenon and Asta and Alan, they're just all like, oh man, you know, this is how Yuno goes to the dark side, and everyone's talking about as far as Yuno going to the dark side. Now, though he has a 4-leaf clover, and he's susceptible to, as far as that, from what we've been told so far, as far as the way that the 4-leaf, goes into the 5-leaf. So it's more so like a matter of time. Either, he's destined, for being a devil at some point, or he's destined to be put through a lot. Because we have to think about everyone that we know that had a 4-leaf Clover grimoire. You had the first Wizard King. Now remember, he didn't turn into a devil. He, basically died, fighting one, but he didn't have to turn into, or he didn't turn into a devil. Lick turned into a devil. And it seemed like it was, we don't know if the full-fledged him turning to that capacity of a devil was what he was in general, or if it was because of the amplification of, the magic stones. I'm not 100% sure on that, But then we also have Patrick. He had a 4-leaf grimoire, and he turned into a devil, evil elf basically. But he was able to come back, as far as not like full-fledged, but he basically, because of, coming back to life basically, he still has it, and then there's Yuno. So there's 4 people that we know that had or has a 4-leaf grimoire, and only 2 of them turned evil. Okay? Now, the only reason I bring that up, because, they was talking about, the Black Clover expedition, where you see, like basically Yuno and Asta, and Yuno's side is like burnt, so there's a lot of speculations of not if, but when this fallout between Asta and Yuno is going to come about, and in what way. Now, personally, I don't know as far as in regards to storyline if it would really, I'm trying to look at, different things, and personally with what we've seen with Yuno, we've seen that he has, I wouldn't even say it has the potential, because the examples that people use for Yuno's, quote unquote eventual transformation into a devil and different things like that, or being evil or turn into the dark side, I can't really say that, those are that, because a lot of people thought between, when Yuno's elven part had awakened, that was going to be a thing, and it wasn't. Yuno was able to take control of that. Now, another thing was that the possibility that, when Yuno got his butt kicked the first time with Zenon, that he, after that, seemed very, you could see like his eyes and different things like that. It seemed like it was kind of going towards this kind of like, more darker side. And when he saw, now remember, when he saw Asta, he was, like, I wouldn't say like shocked or anything like that. I think that he was happy to see Asta, but I don't know what like people are expecting when it comes to like human emotions. Like, just because Asta's there doesn't mean he's gonna not be in this mood that he's in. You know what I mean? Like, he's not gonna be like, haha, yeah, let's go, da-da-da-da, because, that's, as far as him getting to this point, he's still trying to be himself, but he's also the vice captain of a squad that got murked, So in that scene where they're just all like, let's go save our captains, they both said that. That's still as far as them being, them. Yes, did look, whatever, but it's not like it was Asta that said it and was just like ... No, they both said it. So a lot of people think that Yuno will be the one to kill Asta because, we've seen this scene with Zenon and the parallels, and it's just like, no, No, Yuno is not Zenon. That's the main point. Asta is not Alan. Yes, there may be certain parallels, but they are not each other. As far as storytelling, as far as, being able to bring, there may be something, in the future that may tie them or, some similarities, but they are not each other. Their upbringing was completely different. The way that was treated, and if one of these theories are correct as far as being able to basically tap into his elven side, because there was this really dope breakdown video and they talked about, basically, I want to say it was Unami. And Unami was just like, they broke it down and it was just like, with the way that was acting during that time and the fact that his elven side it was a baby when it died. So it didn't have as far as this hatred or anger or anything like that towards humans. And the spirit itself was young enough to grow with to where even though it's an elf, it was raised as a human. And so its allegiance, isn't bound by race. So I feel like why won't go into that particular way is due to the fact of possibly being able to still access that elven energy, and that elf being there. So it's a possibility, so anyways, this is the review. I haven't got a chance to really talk about this chapter, so that's why that was kind of, wordy. But let me know your thoughts on it, because I know everyone's thinking like, oh, based on probability, the only thing that I can say in regards to what we've seen in patterns with the four-leaf clover is that either the four-leaf clovers are not as lucky. It could be both. It could be that even though it has luck, they're destined for like lots of tragedy, or they become a demon, Those are the only examples that we've seen. So based on the 4 people who have it, it's we can't really say based on patterns like, oh, that's gonna, really go down. Yes, it is important to understand that fact about the 4-leaf clover, but what if, and I might make a video on this, but what if, the same way that we have devils, there's a possibility that the 4-leaf can maybe go from a 5 to a 6-leaf, and there may be angelic powers that come with that. So who knows? Let me know y'all's, thoughts on that. But someone's still up and roaring to go. Well, not raring. He's kind of like barely holding on. And that's Langris, and Zenon's just all like, oh, you're still standing? Well, you can't even die, right? I'll put you out your misery. And he sends the bones at Langris. But then, the moment we've been waiting for. Finro pops up. Now, this is crazy. You know, Finro popping up, you know, he tells Langris, because Langris is just like, what are you doing here? You came here to rescue me again? He's like, nope, you know, that dude used, Finro's just all like, that dude used spatial magic, you know, to abduct our captain. And Finro says, I'm gonna, you know, it's gonna take me some time, you know, Mr. Yami. Now, I don't know if that is foreboding, you know, the potential of Finro dying. That would really suck, because I think Finro has done a lot of character development, and honestly, that would really suck if Finro died. But I don't know, you know, sometimes they say things like that and they end up getting murked, like, I'll see you soon, and then they get murked. But despite all of that, you know, they go into detail as the combination of Langris's monozone within Zenon's spatial magic and Finro's precise and instant, you know, or precise, you know, teleportation, everything, they're able to do instant teleportation, you know, and this is the first time the two of them fought like on the same side. You know, so we got the spatial magic bros, you know, coming in to go against Zenon. Now, that's the way it ends. Now, I'm gonna say this: if you think that there is any space and time that Finro and Legris are going to somehow defeat devil-hearted 100% Zenon, I don't know. Let me know what it is that you're smoking. Because it's not going to happen. I can tell you that right now. There is no way in hell that they're going to defeat them. Now, of course, there may be some surprises, you know. No, there's no way in hell that they're going to beat him. You want to know why? Because this isn't a manga situation where, you know, there's this very precise thing that he was able to do to be able to do this on top of Dante's personality in general. Because what was to stop Dante from doing a deal like Zenon? You know, other than his own, you know, selfishness. So that was a very unique situation, and in the context of everything, yeah, you know, I could dig it. But we're dealing with a devil heart. You saw how much not even full powered Magicula went against a OP Charlotte, an OP Real, a OP Noel, an OP Gaja, even though he was going against, you know, Lola Pachica. There's no. Finro, I don't care what no. And if it does happen, well, I'm curious to see how that happens. But that's the type of stuff we're dealing with as far as that. On top of that, you know, Magicula turned Lolo into a freaking devil by just playing around. That's like you playing with some Play-Doh or some blocks, and then you like magically create a quantum realm, and you're just like, ooh, okay, cool. That's like basically she was playing around and turned a human into a demon. You know, so what I think is more than likely going to happen, they're going to be able to stall. They're going to be able to stall. And what may potentially happen is, and shout out to Nero Man 79 because he said this, and I think that this may actually, it would make sense in the context of this. But even then, I still don't think that Zenon per se will be like full-fledged defeated. But they're going to be able to stall, and then Yuno's going to pull out his fourth, wind weapon, basically. I think that would be super, super dope. Other than that, everybody else I want to say is on the way. Now, Zenon's gonna be a beast. Right now, is out of commission. And my thing is, I personally think that there's more of a likelihood of dying before Asta. But that's just my thoughts. Anyways, this chapter was super, super dope. We got Zenon turning into a freaking, getting the devil's heart. We got Yuno getting laid the F out. We get Finro coming. We get a collaboration between Finro and Legris. And man, it's intense. It's intense. But what do y'all think about this chapter? What do y'all think is going to go down in 308? I'm going to do a separate video prediction as far as for that. But anyways, this is Mr. Composition, the MC that writes fiction. Peace.
Thoughts in the deep science, got the sun in my pocket, build your resilience. So when the next winter cycle comes, I prepare with no losses. The work of the soloists of boss. At the heart of my winter, there's an invincible summer. Invincible summer. Too strong, too strong. Yo, I thought I was a goner. Thought I was a goner. At the heart of my winter, there's an invincible summer. Invincible summer.